Hi, my name is Holly, and today we are debunking the arrowroot powder. Can you use it as a substitute for cornstarch? Now, I've been watching a whole bunch of videos that say that you can use arrowroot powder in place of cornstarch for your cream of chicken or cream of whatever soup. I've watched so many videos that they have said in almost every single one of the videos, not all, but almost every single one of the videos, that you could replace cornstarch with arrowroot powder. Now, I've done this 3 different ways. I have done a cream of mushroom soup, and I used arrowroot powder and normal milk. And then I used goat milk powder with the regular cornstarch. Now, we all know that from the videos that cornstarch and regular milk does really well. But what people aren't showing you is when they say that you could do arrowroot powder in place of cornstarch with normal milk, is what they say. But none of them are actually trying it. None of them are showing you how it's done. None of them are showing you how it turns out in the end. So today we are going to do that. Today we are going to use arrowroot powder and goat's milk powder instead of cornstarch. And then at the end, I will show you how all 3 of them look with normal instant milk, normal milk, powdered milk with arrowroot powder, normal goat's milk powder with cornstarch, and then we're going to do goat's milk powder with the arrowroot powder. So then that way you can have an idea of what all 3 of those look like, because we already know that normal milk and cornstarch, it already works. That's what people are doing. They're doing it already. But what we want to know is if arrowroot starch powder will work with normal milk, and will it work with goat's milk powder. So we're going to do that today. So I have all my ingredients in front of me. I have parsley, I have onion powder, I have roasted garlic, rosemary, and sea salt. I have oregano, basil, and tomato. I have black pepper, thyme, and then I have a 0 salt bouillon powder, which I found in the store today at Safeway. I did use, for this one, which is the goat's milk powder and arrowroot starch powder, cornstarch, I used normal bouillon powder, and it came out a bit salty. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to use non-salted chicken bouillon powder to make it. So give me just a second. Let me go get the goat milk. Hold on. Okay, so this is the goat's milk powder I'm going to use. It's from Hoosier Hill Farms. And it says it's great for a refreshing drink, and it also can be used in lotion, soaps, and more. And what the great thing about this one is that it doesn't have to be refrigerated. No refrigerated necessary. Okay, so I'll put this one back down here. So I got this recipe from a combination of multiple recipes online. And this is pretty much basic to what everybody is saying in their recipes for a cream of whatever soup. So you need 2 cups of dry milk. But today we're going to do 2 cups of goat milk powder. I hope I have enough. All right, there's 1. Okay, overfilled the last one. That's pretty much 2. All right, so there's 2. I'll have to get some more of that. I got this off of Amazon. It's called Hoosier Hill Farm Goat Milk Powder. So I got it off of Amazon just in case you're wondering where I got it from. And then it calls for 3/4 cup of cornstarch. But we're going to be using arrowroot powder. Okay, so I don't have a 3/4 cups, but I do have a 1/4 cup. And in order to make 3/4 cups, you need 3 of the 1/4 cups. So we're going to do 3/4 cups of the arrowroot powder. And I'm just going to spoon it in here. So that's 1. That's 2. And that's 3. Okay. That's 3/4 cup of arrowroot powder, and this is from Bob's Red Mill Premium Quality Arrowroot Starch / Flour. Okay, and that's what it looks like. Okay, so we got that in place. We're using this in place of cornstarch. So I'm doing a 1-to-1 ratio for that. Okay, and then now we're gonna put all of our seasonings in. So it calls for 1 teaspoon of seasoning. Sorry, 1 teaspoon of parsley. And what I have here is freeze-dried parsley. So we're going to do 1 teaspoon of parsley. Let me get a paper towel. So, 1 teaspoon of freeze-dried parsley. There. Then we got 1 teaspoon of onion powder. It smells really good. Then we have 1 tablespoon of garlic. And today I'm using roasted garlic, rosemary, and sea salt spice blend from the Gourmet Collection Spice Blends. And this has to be the best tasting garlic and rosemary and sea salt I've ever tasted. So that's why I'm using it. I like it. You can use any other normal garlic if you want to. Normal garlic. So 1 tablespoon of that. And the reason why I didn't add the salt is because this already has sea salt in it. It already has the sea salt. So I did not add any salt. Other recipes call for salt. Then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of oregano. And what I'm using is, again, the Gourmet Collection oregano, basil, and tomato spice blend. So 1 teaspoon of that. And then 1 teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to do it over the counter. 1 teaspoon of pepper. and then 1 teaspoon of thyme. Smells really good. And then also 1/4 cup of chicken bouillon. And I'm using, it's 1/4 cup. I'm using non-salted chicken bouillon today because I don't like how it tasted so salty last time with the salt in the bouillon. And you'd be actually surprised that the non-salted chicken bouillon has less ingredients in it than the chicken bouillon that has salt in it. So if you guys don't like as much salt like me, then try to get the non-salted chicken bouillon. So it calls for 1/4 cup of that. Okay. And look, 1/4 cup for this 2.6 ounce jar took, I would say, a little less than half the jar. A little less than half the jar. So you probably get two of these out of this one. And this one cost me $4.99 at Safeway. I mean, that's a little bit more expensive than you would pay for the salted one. But if you don't want no salt, then get the 0 salt one. All right. So now that we got all of our ingredients, we got dry milk, goat's milk, we got cornstarch, well, we're using arrowroot powder, we got parsley, onion, garlic, oregano, pepper, thyme, and chicken bouillon powder. You're going to mix that all up. And it smells so good. Try not to get it all over yourselves. Now, there's recipes out there that do make bigger batches of this that calls for 4 cups, 1.5 cups. So, it just depends on how much you want to make of this. I'm just trying it out, so I went for a recipe that only had 2 cups of it. So then that way it wouldn't be such a waste. The first time I did it, I did the 4 cups. Ended up with a lot. 4 cups is a lot. So we're going to do this. We're going to stir it up really good. Alright, and then now I'm going to put it in my jar. So I do have a quart-sized jar here. I have a quart-sized jar, and we're going to put it in that. And I have my little mason jar scoop here. Okay, and then we're just going to dump it in there. And this is a quart-sized jar. So let's see how much we get with 2 cups in a quart-sized jar. I don't know if it'll fit it all. Okay, so it fits pretty good. Fit pretty good in a quart-sized jar. Look how good that looks. I don't know if you can see it, but you see all those seasonings in there? Oops. See all the seasonings in there? It looks really good. It smells amazing too. Okay. So, now that we got all of our seasonings, now I'm going to show you how each one of these turns out. So, let me show you the jars. I have this one right here, which is using Country Fresh Instant Non-Fat Milk by Augustin Farms and arrowroot powder. So this one's using normal milk that somebody would use and arrowroot powder. Then I have goat's milk powder and arrowroot powder. And then I also have goat's milk powder with cornstarch, okay? And we're going to see how these three cook up and what they look like, and is arrowroot powder a sufficient swap for cornstarch? Stay tuned, we're gonna find out. All right, I am back with all four of these cream of whatever soups. I did 4 different kinds. So we have the, why is it showing like that? I don't know. I don't know why it's showing crooked like that. So we have non-fat milk with arrowroot powder. We have cream of chicken from the store out of the can. We have goat's milk with cornstarch, and we have arrowroot with goat's milk. So these two are with arrowroot, and these two I'm assuming uses cornstarch. The cream of chicken can says modified cornstarch. Now, there is some things in here. It says chicken stock, modified cornstarch, vegetable oil, wheat flour, cream, chicken meat, chicken fat, contains less than 2% of salt, whey dried chicken, monosodium glutamate, soy protein concentrate, water, yeast extract, natural flavoring, beta carotene for color, soy protein isolate, sodium phosphate, celery extract, onion extract, butter, garlic, and juice concentrate. Okay, so there is quite a few more ingredients in the can of cream of chicken soup than there is in our homemade ones. But that's the whole point. The whole point is so then that way we can have a healthier cream of whatever soup than what comes from the store. But what we're doing today is we're debunking if arrowroot powder will work in the cream of chicken or cream of whatever soups. So first I'm going to spoon in I'm going to show you what the cream of chicken from the store looks like. Now all of these are set at room temperature. I did cook all of them. So this is cooked, this is cooked, this is cooked, and this is cooked. But then I let them sit for a minute, so then that way we could see at what room temperature, what kind of like creaminess or whatever they may look like. Okay, so this is the cream of chicken from the store. So I'm going to show you. It kind of sticks to the spoon. It kind of looks like pudding. I would say, in a way, it looks like pudding. It's very creamy-like. See? It's very creamy-like, okay? Alright, now we're going to go to the goat's milk with cornstarch. So, this is the one that's going to most likely be the most common to the store-bought one. So, this is goat's milk with goat's milk with cornstarch. So we're going to stir it up like the last one. And you notice when I first did that, it had a film on it. A film on the top. So you'll want to watch out for that. And this one is a bit runnier than the store-bought one, but it's still creamy. It's still creamy. It flops from the spoon. although it did have that little bit of skin on the top. So that will form a skin on the top, I noticed just now, when it's sitting at room temperature. So it's still creamy though. See, if anything, I would say that it could use a little bit more cornstarch, because the can one has cornstarch and flour. So I wonder if we added cornstarch and a little bit of flour, that it would become more like the cream of from the store. Because we don't have any flour in here, we only have cornstarch. So, but look at it, it is still creamy. And again, it's still cooling down too, so it is still creamy though. It's not yucky. It sticks to the spoon. Alright, so now we're going to go with arrowroot with goat's milk powder. So this one and this one have goat's milk powder, but this one has arrowroot powder, and this one has the cornstarch. So we're going to see what the arrowroot powder did to the goat's milk. Are you ready? See that? It is like, almost like a jello. And it did have a skin on the top. But look at it. It is all sticking together. One big clump. And it kind of looks, like slime. It kind of looks like slime. So see how it's sticking together? Now, in first view, you would think, oh, well, it looks like the one from the store, right? But watch it. See, it all clumps together, and then it's kind of slimy. It's kind of slimy looking. I'm getting close. Okay? All right, now we're going to go back to this one. This one doesn't look slimy. It looks creamy. See how it just flops? Okay. But it still separates from each other. It's not stuck to itself. It's not stuck to itself. It's very creamy, okay? Now this one, when you do that, see how it's stuck to itself? It's like a big ball of slime, okay? See how it's stuck to itself when it cools down? Okay. And I can tell you that when you overheat this, it turns into water. Let me show you. This is what it turns into. It turns into water when you overheat it. Like this. Okay? It's kind of gross. Alright, so now the last one. Non-fat milk with arrowroot powder. Okay? And this is the same thing. It has a skin on the top. And it's just kind of all together. So it looks creamy. It does. It kind of looks like this one. But see how this one moves? It separates. And then watch this one. It's kind of slimy. See how it doesn't separate from itself. It's all one big giant, it's kind of slimy. See? All right. Now look at this one. It's creamy looking. And then this one is kind of jiggly. Like, it's kind of jiggly like slime. Okay. And then we'll go back to this one. Now this one it's a bit watery. It's still creamy, but it's a bit watery. It does really well. See how it's holding its butt? It's still creamy. Now this one is the one with cornstarch. This one has cornstarch in it. And look how runny it is. And I believe that is because we don't have enough cornstarch. And we didn't add any flour. The YouTube videos on the thing don't say to add any flour. But it's just not quite right. Where this one is creamy. When it's cooled down, it's creamy. And when it's hot, it's still creamy. But the can says cornstarch and flour, and it's creamy. Okay? This one looks slimy. It's got a lot of slime consistency to it. And then this one looks slimy as well. It's really thick. It's super thick, but it's kind of slimy. Alright, and it kind of, you see how it shakes? Look, that's the best way I can show you. See how it shakes? It's all stuck together. And then this one too. See how it shakes? It's all stuck together. And then watch. This one, it doesn't jiggle because it's smooth. It's creamy. There's no jiggle. It's just creamy. This one, it doesn't jiggle either, but it's a little bit more watery than this one. And it has the same amount. Apparently, 1/3 cup is supposed to be equivalent to 1 can. And this is what 1 can looks like. It is a 10.5 ounce Campbell's Cream of Soup can. So that is supposed to equal this at 1/3 cups of powder and 1 cup of water, okay? And then this one is the same thing. 1/3 cups powder to 1 cup of water. This one as well. But look how it jiggles. See how it jiggles? And this one, see how it jiggles? Okay, so you get the point. I am calling that the arrowroot powder is a bust. Because I don't want to eat jiggly, jello-y, slimy arrowroot powder, cream of whatever soup. Okay? But if you're okay with it being a little bit slimy or a little bit like really thick, if you're okay with that, then go for it. If cornstarch is not your thing and you don't want to do cornstarch and you want to do arrowroot powder, you have the facts now and you could go for it. The reason why arrowroot powder makes the milk or the goat's milk like a jello-y, slimy consistency is because arrowroot powder does not like milk. It doesn't like it. It doesn't combine with it well. Arrowroot powder is a great thickener for other things though. It works for other things. But it does not work, in my case, in my mind, because of the consistency it gave, it does not work in a cream of whatever soup. So now you know the facts. If you want to keep watching my channel. It's called Me Beep Adventures. My name is Holly, and you guys have some fun making cream of whatever soup. If you're going to make the cream of whatever soup, I'll be coming out with a new recipe that maybe has some flour in it. And we'll see how it goes with some flour in it. We'll see if it compares to the can. So you guys have fun out there. Keep having fun. Go do whatever you like. And I'll see you next video. Bye.